This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. Any of us who've been paying attention for any amount of time at all know that Donald Trump is a liar and a conspiracy theorist and a dangerous individual who has no business doing work from the Oval Office in the White House. We've witnessed time after time after time he promote conspiracy theories and, as president of the United States, attack private citizens. Name on his Twitter account private citizens, and sometimes in a dangerous way that will elicit harassment on the part of his frothing at the mouth followers, his conspiratorial, dangerous, violent followers. Cesar Sayoc, the MAGA bomber we witnessed, Donald Trump whip him into a fury where he was targeting journalists all across the country with pipe bombs. Arrested, sentenced, now imprisoned. Donald Trump follower. Well, Donald Trump yesterday did it again, and this time in a disgraceful manner, targeted the 75-year-old man, Martin Gugino, who was pushed, rendered unconscious by the Buffalo Police Department. I've hesitated back and forth whether I want to play the clip, but it's so much out there that we're going to play the clip. I'm going to play it, then we're going to talk about it, because I want to show who Donald Trump is now maligning and trying to whip up this fear about Antifa and labeling this gentleman a member of Antifa. There is no membership, first of all, and Antifa is anti-fascist. So, of course, Donald Trump is going to be anti-Antifa because he's a fascist. First, let's get to what the jackbooted Buffalo Police Department did when they rendered him unconscious with a bloody skull laying motionless on the pavement.
He is leaking! He's bleeding out of his ear! He's bleeding out of his ear! Get him medic! What the fuck you walking up on me? I'm moving down!
There are no words. There are no words for that kind of egregious abuse of an elderly man. Well, Donald Trump, after watching One American News, and we're going to get to that, took to Twitter and he tweeted this: Buffalo protester shoved by police could be an Antifa provocateur. 75-year-old Martin Gugino was pushed away after appearing to scan police communications in order to black out the equipment. Then he tags One American News Network. I watched. He fell harder than was pushed. Was aiming scanner. Could be a setup. ? Could be a setup. So no, you're just asking questions. Could this be a setup? I just watched One American News. First of all, it's alarming on its face that Donald Trump is wasting time at 8:34 a.m. Eastern Time, not working, but watching One American News. Because they had just run a story from a reporter named Christian Rose, and we're going to get to him, because you're not going to, I'll just, spoiler alert, he's a Russian operative paid by the Russian government to report for Sputnik, the state media outlet of Russia. But Donald Trump has this habit of beefing up Antifa like they're this scary, dangerous organization out to get you in your homes. They're a threat to you and your safety and your family. Listen, there is certainly a conversation that can be had about the tactics of Antifa. I've done videos about it. But on the spectrum between friend and foe, they're friend. Their intent is good. Their intent is pure. Anti-fascist. That other conversation is something that we can have, though. Donald Trump, the other day, tweeted that he was going to declare them, well, here it is. The United States of America will be designating Antifa as a terrorist organization. Terrorist organization. So which is it? Donald Trump and conservatives? Is Antifa a terrorist organization, or is it filled with members who are 75-year, lifelong peace, anti-violence activists like Martin Gugino? Catholic priest tweeted this about the man he knows, Martin Gugino. He said, this is a Jesuit priest, James Martin. Martin Gugino, the 75-year-old man knocked to the ground by police in Buffalo, is a longtime peace activist and volunteer at the Catholic Worker, a movement dedicated to justice and peace, founded by servant of God, Dorothy Day, who also took to the streets to advocate for justice. So which is it? Donald Trump? Dummy Republicans? Is Antifa a scary threat to every individual American in their homes right now? Or is it filled with 75-year-old frail gentlemen who get knocked down, knocked off balance, pushed to the ground, their head cracked open, rendered unconscious, bleeding out, and sent to the hospital? You can't have it both ways. You don't get it. You don't get to have it both ways. So where is Donald Trump getting that? Let's get to that. There's a reporter from One American News named Kristen Rose, who is a Russian. He's on the payroll of the Kremlin. That should alarm everybody. That Donald Trump is now repeating Russian propaganda from the Twitter account of the President of the United States of America. Here's the report here's a brief moment from the report from One American News. I'm not going to pass on their propaganda and all their bullshit, but here is a brief segment of the report.
New reports find a protester pushed by Buffalo police was appearing to use common Antifa tactics. One America's Kristen Rose looks into the matter.
And I think cops are bad.
He's looking
Good
to
cops
get punched in the
actually
face.
say stuff,
That's what it
get
is.
fired and lose their pensions.
A new report finds the latest tensions at the Buffalo Police Department could be a result of a false flag provocation by far-left group Antifa. According to the conservative Treehouse Saturday, 75-year-old protester Martin Gugino, shoved by the Buffalo police at last week's protest, is a well-known activist bragging on social media about far-left views.
You hear all that? He could be, it may be this, it could be that. Solid reporting, One American News. You're really reporting the facts that it could be, maybe. It could be, maybe, your Russian puppets doing the work of Vladimir Putin with a reporter that you're paying, and so is Vladimir Putin, a Sputnik reporter. So who is Kristen Rose? Well, I'm going to read from a Daily Beast article dated July 22nd, 2019. This guy's not new on the scene. If the stories broadcast by the Trump-endorsed One American News Network sometimes look like outtakes from a Kremlin trolling operation, there may be a reason. One of the on-air reporters at the 24-hour network is a Russian national on the payroll of the Kremlin's official propaganda outlet, Sputnik. Christian Brunovich Rose, originally from the Siberian city of Novosibirsk, has been living in San Diego, where the OAN is based, since August 2017, reporting on U.S. politics for the 24-hour news channel. For all of that time, he's been simultaneously writing for Sputnik, a Kremlin-owned newswire that played a role in Russia's 2016 election interference operation, according to an assessment by the United States intelligence community. Rose's on-air reports for OAN include a wholly fabricated 2017 segment claiming Hillary Clinton is secretly bankrolling Antifa through her Political Action Committee. Clinton, Rose claimed falsely, gave Antifa protesters $800,000 that, quote, went toward things like bricks, hammers, bats, and chains, unquote. And the president of these United States, Donald Trump, dumb guy, dipshit Donald, is repeating Kremlin-created propaganda that is then being broadcast on his acting state media channel, OAN, which is far and above more dangerous, the information that they pass, not in the volume that they do, but more dangerous than Fox News. If they had the audience that Fox News did, they would be far more dangerous. And rather than focusing on real threats, Donald Trump is trumping up through conspiracy theory this bullshit. Christopher Wray, the FBI director, Donald Trump's handpicked FBI director, Senate confirmed FBI director, was on the Hill just in February, testifying before the Senate. And he had this to say about the actual terrorist threats. I'll tell you right now, he didn't mention Antifa. He did mention far right-wing radical domestic terror outfits that are race-motivated, white supremacist, neo-Nazi-based organizations that are posing a threat. They have made arrests. Donald Trump's not saying anything about that. He's running his suck about Antifa, about groups that directly oppose his tactics, his governance. He's not talking about his allies, the white supremacists and the neo-Nazis who all voted for him, who all support him. He's not talking about them. Listen to Christopher Wray talk about the threat of homegrown neo-Nazis.
Threats are real and challenging, and that the 37,000 men and women of the FBI are working around the clock to combat them. As this committee is well aware, we face a diverse and increasingly dangerous terrorism threat. We continue to worry about international terrorism by groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS, but now the threat from lone actors already here in the U.S. and inspired by those groups, the homegrown violent extremists, that threat is even more acute. At the same time, we are particularly focused on domestic terrorism, especially racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists. Not only is the terror threat diverse, it's unrelenting. In the last several months alone, just to name a few important examples, our joint terrorism task forces have foiled synagogue bombings in Colorado and Nevada, arrested 8 members of the violent extremist group called The Base across 4 different states. The list of threats that we face is not getting any shorter, and each of those threats is evolving in scale, in impact, in complexity, and agility.
Very real, very persistent, and very ever-evolving terror threat coming from white supremacists. Not Antifa. That's the latest time that he's testified before the Congress. Donald Trump, not a word about those because they are his allies. And why is it that conservatives, especially elected officials, are silent? There are crickets in the distance from conservatives over this kind of dangerous rhetoric from Donald Trump, conspiratorial rhetoric from Donald Trump. There is one member of the conservative movement who isn't silent. He's amused by it. Rush Limbaugh, recipient of the Medal of Freedom from Donald Trump at the last State of the Union address, the racist demagogue Rush Limbaugh had this to say, calling Donald Trump clever in how he propagates and spreads misinformation, propaganda, and conspiracy theories. Watch this.
When you get to Trump and his conspiracy theories, he does it in a really clever way. And this is where people don't get the subtlety of Trump because they don't think he has the ability to be subtle. Trump never says that he believes these conspiracy theories that he touts. He simply passed them on. Like during the campaign of 2016, folks, I ran the gamut of emotions on this. When Trump said that he had seen a picture of Ted Cruz's dad standing next to Lee Harvey Oswald. And I said, what the hell is this? And I thought, he's going to have to walk this back. Ted Cruz's dad had something to do with the assassination of JFK. He never walked it back. But more importantly, he never asserted it himself. He simply said it was out there and that people ought to know. And with virtually every conspiracy theory that Trump touts, he doesn't actually tout them himself. He spreads them, and he under the guise, people need to know about this. And it's his way of jamming them up. It's his way of teasing them. It's his way of getting these conspiracy theories out there.
Outrageous. Donald Trump is not clever. And it is not amusing to have a president of the United States lying about political opponents, saying that their fathers had something to do with the murder, the assassination of a previous president. It's not cute. It's not funny. It's embarrassing. Just like you, Rush Limbaugh, you sickening gargoyle, human garbage. Just like your pal, Donald Trump. We deserve better in this country. No. Hey, we don't deserve better. After all, almost half of America voted for Donald Trump, those who voted. It's time to move on from all of this. I can't ardently enough encourage you, pressure you to vote, especially after what we witnessed in Georgia yesterday, with the voting. The hours-long wait, like that's not planned and strategized to discourage voter turnout. It's likely going to be that way for you this November. Get out there and vote, because we cannot afford. I don't know that the union can survive another 4 years like this from Donald Trump. A Russian-backed conspiracy theorist passing on paid Russian propaganda, Russian-created propaganda from the White House. What is happening? Love to know what you think. Please sound off. You can email me daily at dollemore.com. Call me, leave a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. And I would hope that if you're in a position to help support independent media like me, like others, I've said it before and I'll keep saying it, if I'm not your flavor, and look, I'm not for everybody. I get that. If there is an independent media creator, independent media voice out there, a content creator out there that you get more value from, support that person or those people. And if you're in a financial position to do so, and I am your flavor, if I do provide some value for you, click that join button, become a channel member. I would appreciate the support very much. Tough times. Anyway, I'll see you next time. I love you guys. Be genuine, and please take care of one another.